From lost to limitless, the system that redefines your life. At some point, we all get lost. Lost in confusion, lost in failure, lost in a version of ourselves we never wanted to become. It's not because we're weak. It's because life has a way of breaking even the strongest spirits. The dreams you had as a kid start to fade. The fire you once felt turns into a quiet frustration. You wake up, work, scroll, sleep, and repeat. And one day you ask yourself, is this all there is? But here's the truth. Being lost isn't the end. It's the invitation. Because every person who ever became limitless first reached a point where they thought they had nothing left. This is the system, the mindset shift, the daily method, the inner transformation that can take you from lost to limitless. Accept your chaos. The first step isn't to fight where you are, it's to accept it. Most people waste years running from their current reality, pretending they're fine when they're not. But denial never builds direction. The moment you say, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm ready to change, that's the exact second your comeback begins. Pain becomes power the moment you give it purpose. Look at anyone who's rebuilt their life. Athletes, entrepreneurs, creators, survivors. They all had one thing in common. They stopped lying to themselves. They stopped saying, one day I'll change, and started saying, day one starts now. Acceptance isn't weakness. It's the foundation of transformation. You can't redesign a life you refuse to look at. So breathe, face your chaos. Because that's where the blueprint begins. Redefine your identity. You can't create a new life with an old identity. If you keep telling yourself you're lazy, unlucky, or broken, your mind will make sure you stay that way. Because your identity always controls your actions. The first transformation happens inside. You have to decide who you're going to be before the world sees it. Say it clearly. I'm not the person who gives up anymore. I'm not the one who settles. I'm becoming someone who executes, who learns, who adapts. The system begins here, not with motivation, not with a plan, but with a new identity. And you don't become that person overnight. You act like that person until your mind catches up. You show up when you don't feel like it. You keep promises to yourself. You act with discipline even when no one's watching. Soon, the brain starts believing, this is who I am now. You've just rewritten your internal code. And once your identity changes, your destiny follows. The system of small wins. Big goals destroy most people because they forget the system that actually builds them. You don't climb Everest in one jump. You take steps. You don't transform overnight. You stack small wins daily until they form momentum. Here's the truth. Success isn't built by intensity. It's built by consistency. It's not about doing massive things once in a while. It's about doing small things, relentlessly, without losing focus. The most powerful system for transformation is simple. One clear morning routine that primes your mind. One small physical win that builds confidence. One act of learning that grows your perspective. One promise kept to yourself. Every single day. That's the system. And those tiny wins, they start to add up. Because each one whispers to your subconscious, I'm moving forward. You may not see the change right away, but it's happening. Quietly, invisibly, persistently. Momentum doesn't scream, it builds. And when it finally shows, people call it luck. But you'll know, it was systems, not luck. Master your mind. Here's the part most people ignore. You can't outwork a mind that works against you. Your thoughts shape your energy shapes your actions, and your actions shape your life. If your mind keeps replaying failure, fear, and comparison, you'll keep repeating the same life over and over. The system from lost to limitless requires mental discipline, meditation, reflection, silence, not for the sake of peace, but for control. The moment you start observing your thoughts instead of obeying them, you become dangerous. You stop reacting to emotions. You stop letting negativity set your pace. You start living intentionally. That's when clarity appears. And once your mind is calm, your focus becomes unstoppable. You stop scattering energy on 10 things and pour it into one. You'll notice the world gets quieter, your path gets clearer, and your progress accelerates. Because you've stopped being your own enemy. You've become your greatest weapon. Learn the art of detachment. One of the hardest lessons you'll ever learn is detachment. Not from people, but from outcomes. When you tie your worth to results, you lose power. When you tie your worth to growth, you gain it. The most unstoppable people aren't the ones who win every time. They're the ones who stay centered when they don't. Failure doesn't define them. It refines them. The truth is, most people never become limitless because they quit when results don't show fast enough. They plant seeds, then dig them up to check if they're growing. But the system of transformation doesn't work like that. You have to plant, water, wait, and trust. Detachment gives you freedom. Freedom from comparison. Freedom from external validation. Freedom from chasing instead of creating. When you stop needing to prove yourself, you start improving yourself. And ironically, that's when results finally come. Surround yourself with momentum. You can't build a limitless life in a limited environment. Energy is contagious, and you become who you're around. If you spend your time with people who complain, doubt, and settle, you'll start doing the same. But if you surround yourself with visionaries, doers, and dreamers, you'll start thinking differently. Find people who remind you of your potential, not your past. People who challenge you to level up, not slow down. And if you can't find them yet, become them. Be the example others can look at and say, if they did it, maybe I can too. When you start living at that level, the universe rearranges itself to match your energy. Opportunities appear, connections form, doors open. Because life doesn't respond to wishes, it responds to vibration. And your environment is part of that vibration. Choose it carefully. Serve beyond yourself. True fulfillment isn't found in success alone. It's found in service. If all your goals are self-centered, they'll eventually feel empty. But when you align your growth with something greater, purpose enters the picture. It could be helping others rise, creating something meaningful, or simply inspiring through example. That's when your success stops being about status and starts being about significance. The greatest version of you doesn't just win, it uplifts. And that's the mark of a limitless soul, to turn your personal victory into collective value. Remember, your pain, your failures, your lessons, they're not just for you. They're for the person you'll help one day who's walking the same path you once crawled through. That's legacy. That's how you become truly limitless. Live in alignment, not pressure. Being limitless doesn't mean you never struggle. It means you move with purpose even through struggle. Stop trying to do everything. Do the right things, the ones aligned with your goals and values. You'll feel the difference instantly. When you live out of pressure, life feels heavy. When you live out of alignment, life feels powerful. Every day won't be perfect, but every day can have progress. And that's what being limitless really means. Not that you never fall, but that you never stop getting back up with wisdom and intention. From lost to limitless. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're simply in transition. Every hero, every visionary, every icon started with doubt, fear, and failure. They just refused to stay there. You have a choice: to keep replaying the old story, or to write a new one that begins today. The system isn't complicated. It's built on honesty, identity, consistency, control, and purpose. Follow it long enough, and you'll watch your entire world change. You'll go from lost to limitless, from doubting your worth to defining your destiny. And when that day comes, you'll realize you never needed permission to become great. You only needed a decision. If this message resonated with you, carry it forward. Like, share, and subscribe to Motivation Arcane for more words that rewire your mindset and reshape your reality. Because you're not done yet. You're just getting started. And the world hasn't seen your limitless version yet.